Hello, I'm Georgia Shakti-Hill. I want to welcome you to Living in Balance. We have taken you around the world to the different cultures, and we have visited and had visitors from New Zealand to Peru. Today we are going to meet with a man who is sharing the ancient healing techniques, the ageless techniques from Africa, the healing wisdom of Africa. Come join us. Brother Jamal shares the ancestral meditation medicine. He is a shaman, and he is sharing his wisdom with us today. So I'd like to welcome you.
Thank you, Georgia. I'm glad to be here.
Well, you are a shaman, and I thought maybe you might want to share what that means.
Okay, the idea shaman dates back to the ancient Egyptian culture, which was the first shaman civilization documented on the planet. The word itself came from the deity Shu, which in ancient Egyptian mythology means breath or spirit. Shu was the creator of heaven, earth, and humanity. So the shaman is one who works with the spirits of heaven, the spirits of earth, which are the nature spirits, the forces of nature, territorial spirits, the angels, one's ancestral spirits, and to evolve and to help the human quest heal itself and develop itself to its highest.
So this is an ancient tradition that you are carrying on.
Yes, it is.
Yes. And the gifts that you share, one of the books that you do highly recommend is The Healing Wisdom of Africa. You have brought us many books because there is so much wisdom that has been shared. And your study has taken you, and you have a very diverse background yourself personally. Before a shaman, what was your calling?
Before a shaman, my calling was shaman.
So you've always been a shaman.
Yes, you see, how one becomes a shaman is by birth. The shaman tradition is based on the principle of reincarnation, or a belief in reincarnation. So based on the work that you have done with your spirit in the past lives determines your capacity to be a shaman in this life. So it's ancestral to a great degree. It's in your blood.
So there was never a question about what your purpose would be?
The first words that I spoke as a baby was Dakasha.
And that is?
Doctor of Shamanism.
Oh, wow. You didn't start with Dada. No, you went right to Dakasha. Well, that's good. Okay. Now, you are also referred to as an herbal metaphysician.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Would you tell us what your role as an herbal metaphysician is?
Okay. The way that herbs are used in folk traditions around the world is to alleviate symptoms, to alleviate body symptoms, to alleviate organ symptoms, to alleviate system symptoms, etc. The physical body of the herb is used for that, the molecular body, the mortal body of the herb. The herb has a soul, a spirit, and a body just like humans do. Right? As a matter of fact, according to the shaman way of thinking, the herbs possess cosmic consciousness, and the reason why animals gain cosmic consciousness is through eating the herbs. The reason why humans gain cosmic consciousness is through using the spirit of the plant, which is the shaman's role.
Now, you also have shared with us here, and there are a couple of books that are really, they look fascinating. This is something I'd really love to study myself more. This is called Plant Spirit Medicine. So this is the type of information in here that would give us a better understanding of what you're just describing now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then you also have one which is kind of interesting, The Secret Life of Plants. And in this one, they also delved in deeply into the secrets of the soil. And so there is this a very powerful connection that we have with plants, but you're giving them a consciousness.
Yes, the plants are giving us the consciousness.
Okay, yep, you're describing them as having consciousness.
Right, yes.
Now, the people who are hesitant as vegetarians of eating meat, is there a kind of respect and a ritual that we should be using then when we're eating plants too and herbs?
Yes, one of the first rituals we all learn as children is prayer before eating, right? And reverence for the spirit of the food and for the deity behind the food. From an African perspective and from a shaman perspective worldwide, the powers of the food are not in their molecular structures, like their vitamins or their minerals. The power of the food is in the deity or the spirit behind the food. And a shaman chooses foods and herbs for specific people based on the kindred spirit relationship between a person in that particular food.
So if it's done with the right attitude and with respect, then the power is gleaned from the herb. Is that sort of the concept? Or
If the herb chooses the soul.
Well, now,
Yes.
you also shared with me, and I thought this was kind of fascinating. If we can get a shot of this, this is Herbs of, and this is the Holy Bible, okay? And so you have a Bible with the herbs superimposed on top of that, and there is a quote from this, and the quote is biblical, and it is, "Their fruit will be for food, and their leaves for healing," and that's Ezekiel 47:12.
Yes.
Okay, so we also have support from biblical times.
As a matter of fact, when we begin looking at all of the religions of the world, we see that all the sacred scriptures of the world give support to the shaman tradition, or should we say the shaman tradition is the origins of all of the religions, the cultures, the healing systems, the medical traditions, the languages and the rituals and the pathologies of the world. There is no difference from a shaman perspective, which is why the shaman respects and has tolerance for all religions, recognizing that religions are a step in the right direction towards cultivating one's spirit.
Now you have religious symbols that come from all the different religions. You have here books that are that would have a tribal history. You also have books of Jesus. So you're not limiting yourself and your knowledge and your background to any specific religion? Is that not the role of the shaman then?
That is not the role of the shaman. As a matter of fact, we take the position that Jesus was a shaman himself. If we listen to some of the most famous quotes of Jesus, such as, "I came not to change one dot or line or tittle of all of the prophet shamans that came before me, but to fulfill their role, their work." This is the way of the shaman. The shaman does not limit himself to specific religions, recognizing that each religion is brought in a particular time for a particular people in a particular language to a particular nation. But the world goes on before the religion, and the world goes on after religion, and God is always here.
Okay, so the work that you're doing with people now, and I know you do lectures and you do workshops and you have study groups, so that's how you're serving. What is it that you are trying to teach? For example, if someone were to come to your workshop, what would you be sharing with them of these ancient traditions? Because you were born into it. Not everyone is a born shaman, but do all of us have like a little bit of shaman in us?
Most definitely. The shaman is a consciousness. It's you're either born into it or you're reborn into it. It's a consciousness that is called in the English language, the closest idea to that consciousness would be the word genius. Right.
Okay.
We all have a genius, which comes from an Arabic word jinn, which is where the word gene came from. So we have a workshop. Our workshops are entitled "From Gene to Genie to Genius."
Okay.
Right. The spiritual evolution and healing of the soul into the 21st millennium.
Well, we have always found that the people who come and talk with us here have a gift that they want to share, and some of them it is their music, some of it is their dance, some is their art, some they have wisdom to share. Is that what you're trying to bring out of each person then through the workshop? Is what is their gene, their genius, their genie?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. We each come with something to share. We each come with something that we are to realize, to bring to the earth that which wasn't here before we came. And if that process continues, which is basically destined, then the earth will fulfill its destiny, and it will be a better place for all human beings to live.
Now, as far as your destiny then, are you actually then doing healing work with herbs with people? Is this part of what your role is as Brother Jamal?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, the healing work that we do is to introduce people to the herbs that are of kindred spirit to them. The herbs do the healing.
Now, the plant spirit teacher allies you work with. Now, would you explain that in what we've just been talking about with the herbs and the plants? The plant spirit teacher allies. Okay. this is.
Okay, okay. Once again, the plants themselves have consciousness. Each plant corresponds to specific manifestations, such as specific minerals, specific people, right? Specific angels, right? Specific planets, right? That is called a family, and that family is determined by a specific spirit. So the way that we look at things today, we would say gold is a mineral, and we would say frankincense is an incense, and we would say you are Shakti, right?
All right.
Right? But a shaman would look at you and understand the energy that's coming from you corresponds to a specific spiritual family, which means that there are certain minerals that are particular to your cultivation, to your development, to certain plants that are particular to you, that are related to you, right? Certain angels that are related, certain colors that are related to you.
And then these would all bring out my highest and my best.
That these would
This-
and using these
Right.
on a daily basis, they become your daily bread,
Okay.
right? And that brings out that helps to grow your soul.
Wonderful. I like this. Now, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, you're going to show us like a meditation in motion that is not unlike Qigong, but it is particular also to the African.
Yes,
is it
ma'am.
not? Wonderful. So, if you will stay tuned, there will be more with Brother Jamal. If you are just joining us, we are talking about the healing wisdom of Africa, and this is Ancestral Meditation Medicine, and we are talking with the shaman, Brother Jamal. One thing that he wanted to do was bring a little bit of clarity to some of the Hollywood silliness of the treatment of Haitian voodoo, and you said it has not been served well.
Not at all, not at all. As a matter of fact, I highly recommend the book, The Serpent and the Rainbow.
Okay, now this is the book that can serve people well as far as the wisdom of voodoo, the Haitian voodoo, zombies, and magic, and it is called The Serpent and the Rainbow. And Wade Davis has written this, and the Harvard scientist has determined that it has, what are the facts that we should know?
The facts that we should know is that our government paid Wade Davis thousands of dollars to go into Haiti and to discover the secret of creating a zombie. Now, we have been taught that this was something that is superstition, basically, and negative. But when Wade Davis went to study the system and found the various poisons, fish poisons, and plant poisons that were used, he questioned what was this going to be used for in the United States. And as a result of that, he lost his credibility. He lost a lot of his, most of his earning power, and he was basically ridiculed. And in order to correct the image that was imposed upon him, he wrote the book. And then he sold the book to Hollywood, and they made a B-class movie out of it, right? Which denigrated the idea once again. And then he followed up with another book entitled The Ethnobotany of the Haitian Zombie, where he approached it from a very strict, left-minded academic perspective so that it couldn't be ridiculed.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So he has brought wisdom and clarity and truth.
Most definitely. That this was an ancient shaman tradition. All African religions are based on shaman traditions. But as a result, once again, of ignorance and bias, prejudices, they have been viewed as being primitive and superstitious.
Okay, so the purpose of the zombie or of the medicines to create the zombie-like, this actually did happen, and what was it? Just bottom line in a sentence, did they create zombies? Were they able to with the
Yes.
poisons and so
Yes,
forth?
if we go back into the history of Africa, we see that African civilizations did not have police. They didn't need police, they had zombies.
Oh.
So if you committed a crime against the society or against your family, etc., your soul was transformed into a zombie, and you were basically limited to working for the society for the rest of your life, as a means of reforming yourself and paying back for the karma that you created.
Okay, all right, so it was like in lieu of prisons.
Exactly.
Got it, okay. Now, on a lighter and happier and more beautiful note, okay, you have created for us, as I said, like a dance movement that's beautiful, that is not unlike Qigong, and we're going to watch that. Can you tell us what you're going to be doing, and do you have a name for the movement?
Yes, this particular movement is entitled the Black-Crowned African Crane Shaman Meditation Medicine Dance.
Okay, so we're going to watch it, and you can explain to us what we're seeing, okay?
Very good.
And I like that. That's quite a title, though. Would you repeat that? What are we watching again?
Okay, it's called the Black-Crowned Shaman Meditation Medicine Dance.
All right, and we're watching it right now on monitor, so tell us what we're seeing.
This is the origins of the Qigong systems and all the moving meditation systems. It comes out of the shaman dance. The shamans danced and worked with the spirit world to invoke and to bring into this material plane the various forces that could be called divine intervention for the evolution of the soul and the evolution of the inner self and the healing of the outer world. And right in this particular position, I am using what's called the spirit needle, which is the forerunner of acupuncture, right? Mm-hmm. And I am using the needle to open up centers in my body, in my spirit body, that may be closed as a result of particular karma that I have brought in, and this opens up the process of healing. Now you'll find that this same process is found in voodoo, but instead of penetrating the needle into the body, they penetrate it into effigies of the soul, which is the same foundation for acupuncture. You're using the exact same meridians. So here, this is a spirit dance, a dance that is considered sacred, a dance that you have in every culture, whether it's Native American, African, European, Asian, etc., that is used by the holy people to interact with their ancestors, as well as the forces of nature and the spirits of heaven, bringing all these forces together to awaken and to realize human consciousness.
Now, do you teach that? Or is that one of the
Yes,
workshops that
yes,
you do?
Yes, we have a threefold. First, we teach Qigong, right? That's to open up the body, and that's the first stage. The second stage, we teach breathing techniques, right?
Yes, the breath is so important.
It's the key.
Isn't it? Yes.
It's the key.
Yeah.
And with those techniques comes the movement. That's called daily breath. The first stage is called daily breath, and the last stage, which is this stage, is called daily light.
Okay, wonderful. You brought some artwork with,
Yes, ma'am.
with you for us today. The first is Aquarius. And tell me, why was that significant, and why did you bring that particular work of art to share?
Because when we look at the symbol, we see that the symbol itself is called Aquarius, the water bearer. But in actuality, if we study it very closely, we see that it is a shaman depiction. The shamans use a libation, right, which is the pouring of water to the earth to awaken the territorial, the ancestral spirits, and to bring them into the dance of life. Now, this is one of the oldest shaman rituals called libation. And if we look at Aquarius, Aquarius is pouring libation to the earth. So I brought that because this symbol is usually overlooked as being the essence of the next 2,160 years, the age of the shaman. They're coming into shaman consciousness.
Okay, so
that
the
earth
age
is
of Aquarius is
exactly,
the age of the shaman.
the age of the shaman.
Okay, Aquarius the shaman.
Aquarius the shaman.
You also brought the Black Madonna.
Yes,
and we
ma'am.
have talked with others about the Black Madonna. And the Black Madonna is found all over the world. I think there are 400 different churches, chapels, temples. And tell me about the significance to you of the Black Madonna.
Yes, the Black Madonna symbolizes a shaman culture also. Okay. It symbolizes the resurrection of the human soul, which is a property that is found in all religion. It is a potential found in all humans. If we look at all the symbols of all of the religions, we see all the symbols correspond to a bipolar deity, basically a male-female deity or divinity system, not in all male or not in all female.
Like the yin yang.
Like the yin yang. And we look at the yin yang, it's black and white, and we see the black on the top, which is the Madonna, and we see the white on the bottom, which is the child. You see the same systems in all the traditions, which implies, and even in the Masonic tradition, they call it the black widow and her white-haired son.
You also have the fallopian symbols next to the Ankh, and so the diagram showing that, and it was the Ashanti tribal women who made the connection, or that you mentioned the fertility symbols here, and that also goes back to the shaman tradition.
Yes, it does. It goes back to the realization that we were all born to be reborn, and that the physical womb itself is the first birth that we come through. But the second birth is the spiritual womb of the Madonna, or the mother principle, or the female deity, which is why in all of the ancient African traditions, the soul was depicted as a bird, because a bird is born into an egg, and then it has to peck itself out of the egg. So the shaman tradition looks at this world as being the egg that we each have to experience and to learn our lessons so that we can be reborn into the higher worlds, just like a bird.
I love it. Well, it's absolutely fascinating. There are many more things that you would share, and you do, as I said, a lecture series. You have a book club, you have the study group, so you are really serving your community well, and I appreciate your bringing your wisdom and your light with us today.
Well, thank you.
And the
Thank you,
wisdom and the light of the shaman is as old as time?
As old as time.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, time was reckoned in the shaman tradition by the moon. Right? The moon calendar, which is the calendar that every culture uses for shaman work, for spiritual work, for farming, for just about any kind of activity on this earth.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and we do have the final book to share is the Moon Sign book.
Yes, ma'am.
Fabulous. So you just have a wonderful wealth of wisdom to share with us. And if you would like to be in touch with Brother Jamal, stay tuned and we'll let you know how you can. And you know, we love to hear from you, and I answer every email personally and every letter too. The healing wisdom of Africa, the ancestral meditation medicine of Brother Jamal. May it serve you well, and may you be well, happy, and peaceful. Until next time, I'm Georgia Shakti-Hill.